Hello and welcome back. So recently I've been watching Two to Ramble's YouTube videos, and a lot of the ones that I've been watching are reading the first lines of books and kind of ranking them. And I thought, what a fun video to do for the Middle-earth Readathon month, which is October. You can watch my announcement video as well as all of my co-hosts down below. We all have videos for this month and for this readathon. It's really fun. So I thought what a perfectly themed video it would be if I went through my personal Tolkien collection and read the first lines and kind of ranked them. Now, I don't have all of Tolkien's writings, so this is not going to be a comprehensive list, but I just want to go through the ones that I do have and let's see how his first lines compare. So let's start with Letters from Father Christmas. This one is a compilation of letters that he wrote to his children, and they're very, very sweet. So I can either start with the first letter or the introduction, and I think because the introduction is not written by him, I'm going to go with the first letter. So typically it's the first sentence, unless the first sentence needs a little bit more. So, I heard you ask Daddy what I was like and where I lived. Okay, so yeah, it does definitely put it into context that this is a letter from Father Christmas to these children. So yeah, I guess that's a fun first line because I heard you ask Daddy. So it harkens back to obviously conversations that the kids have had with Tolkien himself as a father figure, not an author. And so it's kind of cute. It's very cute, actually. I do like it. It's just simple, but it makes sense in the context that it would be simple. The next one, let's go with the Silmarillion. I have read this one. I read it with Celestia, who is one of the co-hosts, but I do need to reread it for sure. Preface from a letter by J.R. Tolkien to Milton Waldman. No, we won't do that. That's a big preface. Okay, the first portion is the music of the Anur. There was Eru, the one, who in Arda is called Iluvatar, and he made first the Anur, the holy ones, that were the offspring of his thought, and they were with him before aught else was made. Okay, so the language style is very old-timey. So there was Eru, the one, who in Arda is called Iluvatar, and he made first the Anur, the holy ones, that were the offspring of his thought. The offspring of his thought. Okay, yeah, that's cool. And they were with him before aught else was made. Okay, I do like it. I do like it. Yep, that's a good one. I do have a strong sneaking suspicion that The Hobbit will win this because I absolutely love the opening line for The Hobbit, so we'll see. I do like that one a lot though. So we'll start from here. Now it happened on a certain time that a traveler from far countries, a man of great curiosity, was by desire of strange lands and the ways and dwellings of unaccustomed folk, brought in a ship as far west as even the lonely lands Tol Eressëa in the fairy speech, but which the gnomes call Dor Fadwin, the land of release, and a great tale hangs there too. That seems like a run-on sentence to me. Like that whole sentence is this first paragraph. I don't know. Let me try again. See if we can discover the hidden gem that it may or may not be. Now it happened on a certain time that a traveler from far countries, a man of great curiosity, was by desire of strange lands and the ways and dwellings of unaccustomed folk brought in a ship as far west as the lonely lands, Tol Eressëa, in the fairy speech, but which the gnomes call Dorfadwin, the land of release, and a great tale hangs there too. Okay, so I feel like it's a lot of description of where this traveler is from, where he's going. That part is a little bit convoluted in my opinion. But then at the end it says, and a great tale hangs there too. That part gets me wanting to read more, but the rest of it I feel like was a bit long-winded. So I think so far we've got, I'm gonna do this order so far. I think that works for me. The next one is Mr. Bliss. I have not read this one. This was a birthday present. I'm so excited to read this one. This one is like a very uniquely set up book. Okay. Okay. The first line of this book, Mr. Bliss, is, Mr. Bliss lived in a house. It was a white house with red roofs. I do want to read more because I do like the choppy staccato style of writing. I do like that. I think it's impactful when done well. And of course this book has so many illustrations. So I'm loving it. I'm going to put it below Father Christmas. Okay, yeah, this one, sometimes it's hard to know when the book is actually written by Tolkien and when it's just about him. But this one, it says, A Secret Vice, Tolkien on Invented Languages. And then it's edited by other people. So I don't think I can judge this one because I'm unsure of how it's, like, the book itself is structured. So we'll go to the next one. The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun. Gudrun. Forward, introduction. Okay, so this one is, a good chunk of it is poetry, so it's really hard to do this one, but we're going to go with the first poem, and we're going to read the first stanza. Of old was an age when was emptiness. There was sand nor sea, nor surging waves. Unwrought was earth, unroofed was heaven, an abyss yawning, and no blade of grass. I mean, I do want to continue reading it, but I think I might put it at the bottom. I think I like the Book of Lost Tales sentence more. Beren and Luthien. I really want to read this book. I mean, I want to read all of Tolkien's work, obviously. Okay, I believe it starts here. Some of these books are hard to know where it starts because Christopher Tolkien has done a lot of intro and like setting the stage for this text. So, because if you don't know, Tolkien, while he was alive, only published The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Silmarillion. And everything else that you see attributed to Tolkien's writing was put together by his son, Christopher Tolkien, which was a massive feat, and I think the world should be very grateful to Christopher Tolkien for this. But I think Tolkien's actual story starts here. Two children had Tynwalint then. Tynwalint? Two children had Tynwalint then, Darien and Tinuviel. And Tinuviel was a maiden, and the most beautiful of all maidens of the hidden elves. And indeed few have been so fair, for her mother was a fae, a daughter of the gods. But Darien was then a boy strong and merry, and above all things he delighted to play upon a pipe of reeds or other woodland instruments. And he is named now among the three most magic players of the elves. And the others are Tinfang, Warble, and Ivare, who plays beside the sea. Woo, long-winded. Wow, that's almost this whole paragraph. Wow, that's a long, I don't even know if it's a proper sentence, but it's long. Okay. I think I'm putting it after the Book of Lost Tales because this one doesn't leave me wanting to read more, and then the Book of Lost Tales did. So, next up, The Fall of Gondolin. Prologue. Here we go. Then said Little Heart, son of Bronwig, know then that Tuor was a man who dwelt in very ancient days, and in that land of the north called Dor Lomin, or the Land of Shadows, and of the elder and Noldi know it best. Then said Little Heart, son of Bronwig. When does... This is a long quote from this Little Heart, son of... When does it end? Know then that Tuor was a man who dwelt in the very ancient days in that land of the north, called Dorlomin, or the Land of Shadows, and of the Eldar and the Noldoli know it best. I don't think I like that one. Sorry, Tolkien. I'm putting it after Beren and Luthien. Or should I put it at the bottom? I might put it at the bottom, actually. I think I might keep the Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun above. Okay. Children of Hurin. Introduction. Hadar Goldenhead was a lord of the Edain and well beloved by the Eldar. It's finally not a run-on sentence. Hadar Goldenhead was lord of the Edain and well beloved of the Eldar. Okay, so what we know from that sentence is there are terms that we don't know. So we know that we're in for a pretty epic story, I feel like, when you don't know, like, was lord of the Edain. Who are the Edain? I don't know. I've never heard of that word before. And well beloved by the Eldar. Okay, the Eldar. If you haven't heard Tolkien terms, you're like, I don't know what Eldar is. And then a person's name like Hadar Goldenhead was a lord of the Okay, so yeah, okay. It gives the vibe of an epic story is on its way. It doesn't give much more than that. I don't know that it wants me to keep reading or that I want to keep reading necessarily based on that. But it's better than the run-on sentences. Okay, Unfinished Tales. So this one will start on the first age of Tuor and his coming to Gondolin. Ryan, wife of Huar, dwelt with the people of the house of Hador, and when rumor came to Dorlomin of the Nernaeth Arnodiad, and yet she could hear no news of her lord, she became distraught and wandered forth into the wild alone. Oh! Okay, I'm intrigued that she's... Okay, Ryan, wife of Huar, she's a wife, dwelt with the people of the house of Hador, and when rumor came to Dorlomin of this place, and yet she could hear no news of her lord, she became distraught and wandered... Okay, so she is very distraught that she hasn't heard from her lord. I'm not sure if her lord is referring to her husband or the lord of that land. It's not capitalized, so possibly her husband then? I don't know. And wandered forth into the wild alone. I like the wandered forth into the wild alone because a woman wandering in the wild alone sounds good. It sounds good. So I think I'm going to put that one maybe above the Book of Lost Tales. What have we got? The Shaping of Middle-earth. Is this one written by Tolkien? It says edited by Christopher Tolkien and written by J.R.R. Tolkien, so I think we should start with it's called The Earliest Silmarillion. I think. So this little bit sounds like it's Christopher. And here I think is where it starts. After the dispatch of the 9 Valar for the governance of the world, Morgoth, Demon of Dark, rebels against the overlordship of Manwë, overthrows the lamps set up to illumine the world, and floods the isle where the Valar or gods dwelt. So after the dispatch of the 9 Valar for the governance of the world, Morgoth, Demon of Dark, rebels against the overlordship of Manwë, overthrows the lamps set up to illumine the world, and floods the isle where the Valar or gods dwelt. We're getting a lot of characters here. We're getting the 9 Valar, we're getting Morgoth, Manwë is the place, and then the Valar again. So I guess not a lot. We're getting a couple characters. But it does sound like there's a very epic good and evil happening here. I don't really love the way that the sentence structure is, so I think I'm going to put it below Beren and Luthien. Oh, Tales from the Perilous Realm. I have actually read this. So the first one is Roverandom. There's illustrations in here. I love that Tolkien wrote some, not a ton maybe, but some more child-like stories. I like that. So once upon a time, there was a little dog, and his name was Rover. It's a very, very classic style of starting a story. This, I could totally see any parent who's trying to make up a story for their kid off the top of their head would start their story something like that. Once upon a time, there was a little dog, and his name was Rover. It's cute. There's nothing super meaty in it. I would like to read it more because I like dogs. Yeah, it's cute. I think I'll put it below Beren and Luthien again. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Now this is not exactly Tolkien's writing. It is, but it isn't, because this is a translation. So Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, I don't know who is the original author. Of this poem, but this is Tolkien's translation of it because it was not originally written in English. So yeah, keep that in mind. This isn't true Tolkien writing, but it is his translation of someone else's writing. When the siege and the assault had ceased at Troy, and the fortress fell in flame, to firebrands and ashes, the traitor who the contrivance of treason there fashioned was tried for his treachery, the most true upon earth. It was Aeneas the noble and his renowned kindred, who then laid under them lands and lords, became well nigh all the wealth in the Western Isles. I can't do that one. That one's a run-on sentence again. That one's got to go. I think for the fact that I don't really like it and it's not true Tolkien, I'm going to leave it out of the line. Is that all I have other than the more well-known stuff? I think that is all that I own of Tolkien's writing, other than the stuff we know. So, let's go ahead with... Okay, let's try The Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first book in The Lord of the Rings. When Mr. Bilbo Baggins of Bag End announced that he would shortly be celebrating his 11st birthday with a party of special magnificence, there was much talk and excitement in Hobbiton. And I do really like that one. Maybe it'll be hard for me to rate these because I have such a connection to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings that, let's see, what Silmarillion was on top for me. So let's see how it compared to the Silmarillion. There was Eru, the one, who in Arda is called Ilúvatar, and he made first the Aenir, the holy ones, that were offspring of his thought, and they were with him before aught else was made. I really like that one, but I think I might like the Fellowship better. Next, the Two Towers. How does the Two Towers start? Aragorn sped up on the hill. Very simple. That's the shortest, most concise sentence we've read from Tolkien yet. Aragorn sped up on the hill. I'll do another sentence. Every now and again, he bent to the ground. Okay, maybe it's not the shortest because I think Mr. Bliss was shorter. But I'm gonna do one more sentence. Maybe I'll do this first paragraph since it's really short. Aragorn sped up on the hill. Every now and again, he bent to the ground. Hobbits go light, and their footprints are not easy even for a ranger to read, but not far from the top a spring crossed the path, and in the wet earth he saw that what he was seeking. Better. Better. But if we're judging it by the first sentence, Aragorn sped up on the hill. It's pretty low down there, I would say, because it's like, we know Aragorn and we know we know that there's a character called Aragorn and we know that he's on some kind of quest because he sped up on a hill. So he's either chasing someone or being chased or looking for something. Even the second sentence, every now and again, he bent to the ground. Okay. I guess it does give you some kind of idea that maybe he's a tracker looking for something. I think I might be putting this one lower down. Without that third sentence, I'm going to put it... I'm going to put it after... What was Unfinished Tales? Oh, that was the woman who wandered forth into the wild alone. It does give more, for sure. I think I might put it below the Silmarillion. That's being generous. The next one, The Return of the King. Let's see. Pippin looked out from the shelter of Gandalf's cloak. Well, we're given two characters. We're given the impression that one is either smaller or meeker or something, and Gandalf, that character, would be the greater one because he's sheltering the other one. And he's got a cloak, which is fun. As first sentences go, not overly impressive. Let's see if the second sentence helps. He wondered if he was awake or still sleeping, still in the swift-moving dream in which he had been wrapped so long since the great ride began. Gives you more context in that, like, something has been going on for a long time, that he's possibly fallen asleep. It's a ride, so then you could infer maybe that they're on a horse or a train or something if you don't know the context. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm not loving it, but it's better than some of the run-on sentences, I suppose. I think I might actually put it below Mr. Bliss, because for the Two Towers, I am kind of including in my mind that third sentence that we read, which is why it's higher up. So I think we're going to go with that. And then lastly, but definitely not least, The Hobbit. I could probably recite this to you, but just in case I mess it up, I don't want to embarrass myself. So, let's read it. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with ends of worms and oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, of course. So, of the books that I own of Tolkien, this is my ranking of first sentences. Let me know if you've read any of these, how many of these you've read, which one has been your favorite, that type of thing. I'm really excited to read more Tolkien, of course, and I'm so happy, but also I kind of knew it was coming, that this one would be on top, because it's always on top, if you know what I mean, because it's the best, my favorite. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. Let me know in the comments below if you are joining the readathon as well. And yeah, I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye!